Welcome back, everyone. Today I have another CRKT from my good buddy Will at Wild About Sporting Goods. This is an interesting one, and we'll get to that in just a few as we run through the specs. So the specs is 3.86 inches closed with an overall of 6.5 inches. The blade length is 2.69, the edge length is 2.81, and the reason why that's longer than the blade, I measure the blade from the edge of the scale to the tip of the blade. That's subjective. You can measure it however you want. The edge, that's just a given. It's from the choil to the tip. So this edge, the choil, is below the edge of the scale, so that's why the edge is longer than the blade, the way I measure. Blade thickness is 0.132, and it is, the steel is 8 CR14 MOV, not the greatest, it is what it is. Weighs in at just under 4 ounces at 3.9, overall thickness of 0.52. It has a glass reinforced nylon, as a lot of CRKTs do. Deep carry pocket clip. It's actually fairly comfortable in the hand. Not really, as I bear down, not really hot spots or anything. And I have a full grip. It feels good. You can kind of choke up, I guess, if you want to put your finger here to do some more detail intricate. It works. It's not the most comfortable with the serrations on the flipper tab, but it works. I like the blade grind. I do kind of like that. I wish it was a different steel. The flipper part, it flips, but it definitely deploys faster with a thumb stud. I don't know. So this particular one, I thumb stud it more than I flip it. So the interesting part is you can see here, there's a little lever. So this has what they call their field strip feature. So you push that lever up, and down here there is a little cog that you rotate clockwise. And I have not taken this apart yet. I've just, we'll see what happens. Hopefully it'll go right back together, because I don't plan on doing a whole take apart and clean it and all that stuff right now. So it pulls the scales off with the Teflon washers, just fine. You can pull the blade out. Other Teflon washer there. It's clean, it's brand new. It doesn't need to be torn apart to clean or anything. But this shows you the inside. And this is their field strip so that you can do this anywhere, anytime that you need to, out in the field, whatnot. No tools required. You would wipe this all off. You could do some lubrication, whatever you wanted to do. All you got to do is make sure and not lose the washers and line them back up where they go, which might be easier said than done. You hold the pivot here and you rotate this back counterclockwise now to screw that in, and you lock it back in place. And away you go. Kind of a cool feature, right? There's one problem. This lever, depending on where you put your thumb when you're flipping it, the lever unlocks. I didn't do that on purpose. It just happened. I was, carrying this today, flipping it, doing my stuff, and every so often I would look down, or I would feel that it was unlocked and coming apart. And I was like, what the hell? Because when you unlock this side, that basically releases this. It's hard to kind of see here, but that opens that up and it starts to come open. And you can tell it when you, go to flip it, you feel it and hear it. It's different. It's not going to fall apart. The blade's not going to fall out typically, but it's definitely not right. So when you have your thumb here, depending on how you hold your thumb when you flip it, I mean, you have to hold your thumb out of the way. Typically, you're just going to put it here. And if you're on the pivot, it just depends on how you flip. There should be I don't want to say safety, but there should be something a little more positive detent so that it takes because this is super easy. I mean, there's very, very little pressure required to move that lever. So that makes it really nice in the field, but it makes it too easy to come apart. And it's not every time, so that time it was about halfway, which it's still locked at that point. And then you would presumably feel it or notice it and put it back. But that's a bit of a problem for me. Other than that, I like this. I wish this unlocking mechanism was a little different, and I wish they used a different blade steel, and then this would be a very cool knife to have. I would like it. I love the blade shape. It's a little small, just in typical of my taste, and we'll do some size comparisons here. Pull the Sharpie out. My Chris Reeves Spenza, large 21. This is more my size, for me, typically. Just because I was carrying this earlier today, which is absolutely my size. One of my favorite knives. I just can't get it out of my pocket. It's just fantastic. I can't say enough good stuff about this. And how about next to something more normal sized, the Spyderco Delica. So it's very similar in size to the Delica. The Delica's handle is a little bit longer, so it feels just slightly better in your hand. But the CRKT Prequel feels good in the hand. I like it. The only negative really is that unlocking field strip feature and the blade steel. If they fix that, you'd be good to go. If they fixed that, the price would go up. This is a $60 knife. So for $60, I think you're getting, pretty good deal, even with the blade steel. And as long as you're aware of this flipper, then you're fine. So as long as you just take notice, and what I've done is I've put my thumb behind the latch, and then you flip it that way. It's a little unusual. It's a little uncomfortable. Oh, not uncomfortable, but unnatural. So I don't know. All in all, it's good, but this unlatching feature there is kind of a drawback. So anyway, I think it's cool. If you're looking for one of these, go check out I do that all the time. I'm sorry. Gil at Wild About Sporting Goods. And be sure to use the promo code DIRK10 for 10% off your order. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.